There are a lot of ways you could die in Yellowstone National Park. You could fall into a pool of boiling water. You could get mauled by a bear or trampled by a bison. You might even freeze to death. Or you could be murdered. But don't worry, because murder is a crime, and people who commit crimes are punished. A jury will be selected, a trial will be conducted, and evidence will be presented. And when it's all said and done, your murderer will be convicted. Maybe. That's usually how it goes, but thanks to a strange legal loophole at Yellowstone National Park, it might be a bit more complicated than that. It's called the Zone of Death, and it's been a topic of constant conversation since it first came to light in 2005, inspiring everything from best-selling books to horror movies. See, most of Yellowstone is located in Wyoming, but Idaho and Montana each have a little section of the park as well, less than 4% of the total. This little arrangement comes about because Yellowstone National Park was actually established before these three states were even states. The park was established in 1872, the first of its kind anywhere in the world. But Montana wasn't admitted to the Union until 1889, and Wyoming and Idaho were added in 1890. When these three states were admitted, Yellowstone's boundaries didn't change, meaning that Yellowstone's borders spilled over into Montana and Idaho as well. No big deal though. How much could go wrong? After all, there are lots of parks that cross state borders. Well, let's return to our hypothetical murder to find out. See, if the murder takes place here, in the Idaho section of Yellowstone, you've got a problem. A constitutional problem. Because the Sixth Amendment guarantees you a jury made up of people from the state and judicial district where the crime was committed. This is known as the vicinage clause. And normally, state and judicial district are one and the same, since each state has its own district court. But our friends in Congress decided that all of Yellowstone would be under the jurisdiction of the Wyoming District Court, even the sections in Idaho and Montana. Which means the only place we can select our jury members from is the Idaho portion of Yellowstone National Park. The problem? Nobody lives here. So, no jury means no trial means no conviction, right? Not exactly. Many legal experts doubt that the prosecutors would just allow murders to take place here. So it's less murder is legal here and more it's never happened before, so we don't really know what the courts would do if it did. But a 2005 court case gives us a little insight into what might happen. In December of that year, a hunter illegally shot an elk in the Montana portion of Yellowstone and used the Zone of Death theory as his defense. Unlike in the Idaho portion, though, Montana's portion of Yellowstone does have residents from which to form a jury. It's not entirely the same, but either way, the judge ruled that a crime committed in Yellowstone should be tried in Wyoming with a jury of Wyoming residents. A similar situation would likely occur in the Zone of Death. But why hasn't this been fixed yet? Brian Kalt, the Michigan State law professor who first came up with the theory, brought it to the attention of Congress to try and get them to fix it. His solution was simple: make the Idaho portion of Yellowstone part of the Idaho District Court. But Congress didn't act. Then Idaho Senator Larry Craig said he'd look into it, but never did. Representative Mike Simpson, who is still in office, said at the time we could, quote, count on checks and balances to remedy the issue should a murder be committed. After the novel Free Fire came out, which features the Zone of Death, it got the attention of then Wyoming Senator Mike Enzi, who asked the Department of Justice what they thought of the issue. Their response? That being tried in the wrong state or district was a, quote, harmless error, despite it being a direct violation of the Sixth Amendment. But the DOJ also made another point, that splitting Yellowstone into its respective district courts would place it partially within the jurisdiction of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Officials were worried that by being in the, quote, liberal and quirky Ninth Circuit, environmental groups could more easily challenge Yellowstone's management decisions. Kalt, for his part, disputes this, saying that Congress could simply put all of Yellowstone in the 10th Circuit's jurisdiction. And still, Congress did nothing. So as it stands today, the Zone of Death still remains. And while no, murder isn't legal here, it's still been decades since this question first appeared. The fix is pretty simple. It's just up to Congress to act before anyone gets hurt. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about national parks and other protected areas, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.